be sharing 4 cards I made while creating with the Simon Says Stamp June 28 card kit, Fly Away, and other products from my stash. I love the beautiful flower stamp set from this kit. The main image is almost 4 inches by 7 inches in size. This is huge. It comes with 3 matching flowers so that you can color and build up dimensional flowers on your projects, and some great sentiment builders in many different sizes. I love the outline words that you can color in to match your project. This stamp set inspired each of the 4 cards I made with this kit. I really love the dimension created when you cut out this image and decided to play with the papers in the same way. The pattern papers in this kit are wonderful whole, but a few of them beg to be butchered. I used this stamp set as the main feature of my first card. Using the Simon Says Stamp masking paper from last month's kit, I created a mask of the main stamp. My idea for this card was to create a top-folding horizontal card with a partially cut-out front. I stamped my first image on my card, applied the mask I had created, and then flipped the card to stamp the image again. I then took scissors and cut out around the flower image to create this unique card front. It turned out exactly how I wanted it: interesting, dimensional, pretty, and fun. I did some quick Copic coloring on the image and background. To color the flowers, I colored several petals in the lightest shade. Went in with my darkest color to highlight the darker areas that were easily found by the shading on the stamp, then applied some of the medium shade over the dark, flicking up to the light. And then I covered the entire area with the lightest color to blend. I repeated this process for each flower and leaf until everything was colored. I used the same technique on everything but the background, which I just colored with the teal marker. For a sentiment, I chose the Painted Thanks die from Simon Says Stamp. I cut one from the tonic gold pearl mirrored satin cardstock that was provided in the kit, and another one from white cardstock. I placed the gold on the top of the card and the white on the inside directly behind the gold to provide support. I love how it hangs over the edge to create interest. And of course, I had to add some Spectrum Noir shimmer pen to these beautiful flowers. I embossed a white panel with the Tim Holtz Sizzix Botanical 3D Texture Fades embossing folder, attached it inside the card, topped it off with a stitched oval placed over it to write a message on, and then applied some gold sequins that can be seen when the card is open or closed around the floral arrangements. And with that, my card is done. My second card is a 6 by 6 inch card made with this beautiful piece of pattern paper. Like my first card, I wanted to cut the images out to pop them up on the card to create shadows and dimension. I stamped the sentiment, "Tomorrow is a New Day," from the Simon Says Stamp set, Hand-Lettered Encouragement, on white cardstock with gold Delicata ink, and cut a slightly larger rectangle of the tonic gold pearl paper to frame it. This month I also ordered the circle loop dies. I can see so many uses for them. For this card, I cut 2 sets out of the cornflower blue cardstock. I'll show you how I'm going to use those in just a minute. I took my 6-inch square card base and attached the 2 pattern pieces to either side of the top and bottom of the card using a 3M foam tape. Because I had cut out the middle, I was able to position these to allow for a small border without any additional trimming. I then took my sentiment, and after gluing it to the frame, I created a double layer of foam tape so that the sentiment would be another layer above the pattern paper. And now for my circle loops. I decided to try cutting them in half, which created these adorable half moons that I then positioned around the sentiment. Gluing them was a little tricky as they are so thin, so I solved the problem by just putting glue on the tips that I then hid under the sentiment. To add some shine, I finished the card with some iridescent sequins around the card. It added just the right touch. I love the size of this card and the elements I included, but it still feels like it's missing something. I think if I had it to do over again, I'd add a small cornflower border around the cut edge of the flowers to help them pop more. What do you think? Feel free to add your suggestions in the comments below. The next pattern that I worked with is this beautiful balloon with a spray of flowers just begging to float across my card. Using a paper trimmer, I cut up to the edge of the bottom of the image on both sides and then fussy cut out the flowers and basket. I then cut a straight edge just above the top of the balloon. To finish the panel, I trimmed it down to 5.5 inches wide so it would fit on a top-folding A2 horizontal card. To make the panel pop, I applied a sliver of gold to the top and bottom using dotted tape runner applied to the very edges of the underside of the panel. Before removing the foam tape backing and attaching the panel to the card base, I used it in my MISTI to position the sentiment from the Beautiful Flowers stamp set. I then removed the panel and stamped the sentiment in gold Delicata ink. I removed the backing paper and adhered the panel to complete card number 3. This was a quick and simple card at its best. Card number 4 features these 2 beautiful papers. I fussy cut the balloons out of the balloon paper and then a 5.25 inch by 4 inch panel out of the watercolor paper, focusing on the pink-purple portion. My white mat is simply a piece of copy paper trimmed down to 5 3/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. I decided to give it a try and it worked beautifully. I cut 3 of this fun Thanks on a Line die from Simon Says stamp out of white cardstock and glued them together to create a sturdy sentiment for the front of my card. I then attached the large balloon top behind it to start my configuration. Using a combination of the balloons and some clouds die cut out of white cardstock, I put together a scene of varying levels of clouds and balloons. I blinged out this card with some more of the Spectrum Noir Shimmer Pen on the clouds. I wish you could see how shiny they are. This card turned out beautifully. I had so much fun sharing these cards with you today. I hope you are inspired to play with your pattern papers and create beautiful dimensional cards with them. For more information, please visit my blog at www.perkypennypapers.com and follow my Instagram at perkypennypapers. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it and subscribe to my channel to see when new videos are uploaded. A list of supplies is available in the description of this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today.